Hi, welcome to IELTS Sleep. In today's video lesson, we are going to talk about academic writing task 1. In this video, we are going to learn key vocabulary that you people can use and enhance your IELTS span score in writing module. So let's get started. The very first thing that we are going to do here to read the task question. And what is this task question? Is the chart shows global sales of the top 5 mobile phones brands between 2009 and 2013. Here is your bar graph, and as you can see here, it is written global mobile phone sales by brand, and here you can see number of years, and yeah, don't forget to notice this thing here. So what is this? These are units which were sold in millions. Okay, so if I would say that Samsung sold 100 units, no. Samsung sold 200 units, no. Samsung sold 200 million units, 300 million, 400 million. Okay, so it's not about 200 and 300 units, it's about 200 million, 300 million units. And then it becomes so important that we have to use this millions, the measurement unit, in our introduction. All right, so as we have already seen what is being here, what is given us, now you can see a simple structure to write the task 1. I think many of you have used this before, but I have introduced for freshers who haven't correct idea about this. So this is a simple structure that we have to follow. First is introduction, where you have to paraphrase the question. And what is the question? Question is the chart shows global sales. All right, then we have to use overview. In overview, we have to write highlights of given illustration. Now what are these highlights? As you can see here, its sales went up, right? If we talk about Apple, then again it's seen the same trend, the upward trend. Okay, Samsung and Apple both are showing upward trend. Let's see. What about Nokia? Oh, so it showed a decline. So it showed downward trend. Okay. And if we talk about LG, so again LG also showing downward trend. It experienced a decline over the years. And if we talk about ZTE, so I would say that ZTE experienced a slight increase over the years, right? A minimal, I would say the minimal increase. That is insignificant, okay? All right. So this is what we have already noticed in this graph, and this is what we have to write in our overview. You don't have to write numbers, okay, the exact numbers, how many units they have sold. All right, you don't have to write that. You have to just write that it went up, it went down, okay, or it maintained a balance, or it remained stable. So this is what we have to mention in overview. And then it comes to body paragraph 1, where we have to write details, and then body paragraph 2, again we have to write details. Now how we are going to do this? Let's get started. I will write the bar chart provides a comparison of the sales volume. You can use sales volume here of leading cell phone. I would use here cell phone instead of mobile. Okay, mobile phone. And instead of brands, I am writing here manufacturers. Manufacturers, namely Nokia, Samsung, LG, Apple, and ZTE. Across the years, instead of writing between 2009 and 2013, we have used across the years. And yes, don't forget to mention the measurement unit, and that is in millions. So we have used measured in millions of units. All right, okay. So this is what our introduction looks like. We have used here the comparison of sales volumes, and we have also used the name. So as you can see, Samsung, Apple, Nokia, LG, ZTE, these 5 companies are mentioned. Their names are mentioned here, but they are not mentioned in the introduction. So don't worry about that. If they haven't used them, you can use in your introduction. Okay, so now our next step is to write overview. So how I'm gonna write this? overall, you can also write here overview, in an overview. So Nokia dominated the market in 2009 but faced a steady decline, while Samsung experienced substantial growth and eventually surpassed Nokia by 2030. LG saw a gradual decrease in sales, whereas Apple and ZTE witnessed an increase with differing magnitudes. So this is what our overall is. See, this is very crucial part. Overview is very crucial part because this overview decides how you have to organize your further body paragraphs. All right. Why I'm saying so? Let me explain this. So we have used Nokia dominated the market in 2009, okay, and faced a steady decline while Samsung experienced substantial growth. Now you might be wondering that why I haven't used these three things like Samsung, Apple and ZTE in upward trend and Nokia and LG in downward trend. It could be also the way to write an overview, right? But see, this is what I am talking about, that when we talk about overview, our overview should consist of striking features, okay, surprising factors. So if we talk about Samsung and Apple and ZTE, they showed upward trend, and Nokia and LG showed a downward trend. So it sounds quite uninteresting. I mean, nothing is surprising here. It doesn't contain any surprising factor. So any key factor that can catch our attention. That's why we have used what we have used. We know that Nokia was the dominant player in the market, but it was replaced by, I mean surpassed by Samsung company at the end of the year by 2013, right? So this is a key factor, I mean surprising or striking feature here. That's why we have mentioned it. All right, I hope you got this. And the rest of Apple, LG and ZTE, we have mentioned them in different sentence because they all have less sales volumes than Samsung and Nokia. So that's why we have mentioned here in second sentence. All right, so now move to body paragraph 1 and how we have to write this. See, we have used Nokia dominated the market. We have mentioned Nokia and Samsung, okay, in a sentence, in a single sentence. Now we should include these two companies in one paragraph. So Nokia and Samsung, these are gonna be in body paragraph 1. We are going to talk about that. And why? Because we need coherency, okay? Our text, our information should be coherent. And how we are gonna achieve this? Let's see it. So I'm gonna write it. In 2009, Nokia emerged as the clear leader, selling nearly 450 million handsets, while Samsung trailed with approximately 225 million units sold. However, Samsung's sales surged impressively over the years, reaching around 425 million units in 2030, outstripping Nokia's diminishing sales, which plummeted to approximately 100 million units during the same period. Okay. Now you might be wondering why I haven't used Apple, LG and ZT here if I'm talking about 2009, right? See, this could also be the way that you might have used, that you can choose 2009 first and you can talk about all the companies there. But if I would do that, then it would be incoherent. I mean, there would be no logical linking in my information. in my report. Okay, so if I have mentioned in the very beginning that Nokia and Samsung, I have mentioned about Nokia and Samsung, then obviously I have to give details of Nokia and Samsung here. Okay, now LG, Apple and ZTE, we have mentioned them in another sentence. And as you can notice that all three are in a same sentence, in a single sentence. So this is what we have to do now. We have to make body paragraph 2 for them. And we are gonna include the information regarding these three companies in body paragraph 2. All right. So I'm gonna write this. Regarding the other companies, LG sold roughly 120 million units in 2009, but this figure dwindled to nearly 60 million by 2013. Apple started with modest sales of around 10 million units in 2009, but experienced remarkable growth, reaching approximately 150 million units by 2013. ZTE maintained a relatively stable market share, hovering around 50 million units throughout the period, with only marginal increases observed annually. Okay, all right. So as you can see here, we have written LG, then we talked about Apple, and then we talked about ZTE, and in full details, okay, with their statistics. And this is what we have to do. So this is called coherence, okay. Coherence means when you are logically linking, when you are logically organizing your paragraphs in task 1. All right. Now, when it comes to vocabulary, the lexical resources, see, if we talk about bar chart, line chart, pie chart, table chart, so, all these four, charts, type of charts, they share the same key vocabulary when it comes to like action verbs or adjectives, adverbs. So that's why I have mentioned these words. I have denoted these words in blue color and pink color, dark pink color. The blue colored words, they are showing the action verbs. Okay, the actions, the verbs that you can use in task 1. And the dark colored words, they are showing adjectives and adverbs. For example, if I would say steady decline, so here steady is an adjective, okay. Substantial is also an adjective, and eventually is an adverb. So see, we can also call them collocations. If you use words that can go together and sound natural, so you call them collocations, and these are very, very important when it comes to writing task 1 and writing task 2. Okay, so if you are not aware about this, you can read the writing band descriptor. There you can get that examiners always look for collocations when it comes to vocabulary section. Maybe you might have an idea about all these verbs, but here are some verbs which are showing specific information. For example, outstripping and surpassed. So surpassed means, this thing was replaced by, right? For example, this Nokia was replaced by Samsung at the end of the period, by 2013, right? So you can use this surpassed here. You can also use outstripping for the same, and even one more word I would like to share here, that is outrace. You can also use outrace here. You can also see here plummeted and dwindled too. These both words are showing the decline, okay. So instead of saying went down or declined or decreased, we have used dwindled or plummeted. And then it's like experienced remarkable growth. I hope that you know the meaning of this collocation. And yeah, this one, hovering. I think hovering can be new for many of you because it sounds like a bit different. So hovering means what? Hovering means when something is floating, okay? Floating in the air. So there is a minimal up and down, or you hardly notice the changes in low and high altitude. So there you can say it's a hovering. For example, when birds they fly in the sky, so they let themselves free, okay, and they just hover in the sky. So that is what the hovering. For example, here if we talk about ZTE, so ZTE says is just hovering. Hovering means it's relatively stable, or hardly are able to get the difference, the actual difference, but we know that it is being changed. So this is what the vocabulary, key vocabulary I want to discuss with you. Apart from that, if you want to learn grammatical range and accuracy, so I have also used here some sentence formation. For example, Apple started with modest sales of around 10 million units in 2009 but experienced remarkable growth. Now I want to show that how much. So for that I want to write 150 million units, right? So what we can do, we can enhance, I mean add further information with the help of ing form. You can just put a comma after the sentence, and the rest of the information that you want to include here, you can just put ing form after that particular verb. Okay, so reaching approximately one, you can also use here counting to approximately this. Okay, or accounting for, you can also use it accounting for approximately this to this, 150 million units by 2030. So here it is up to you that which verb, action verb you want to use, but it should be in ing form. All right, then I hope you found this video lesson helpful. If you want me to cover more detailed video lessons on task 1, okay, maybe on bar chart or pie chart, table chart, or process diagram maps, so please let me know in the comment below. I'll try to cover them up. I'll try to make more video lessons on that. So don't forget to give me the feedback, because your feedback gives me motivation. And yeah, that's all for today. All right, so I'll meet you in the next video. Till then, happy learning, happy writing.